Dr. Homebrew is brought to you by 5 Star Chemicals, providing safety and cleaning supplies for brewing, distilling, and winemaking at 5starchemicals.com.
Doctor, look!
Stand aside, nurse. I'm Dr. Homebrew.
Stand clear.
Welcome back. It's another fine edition of Dr. Homebrew. I'm excited for it. I think we have a good show today. We have a special guest. Now, you know that our good, close, personal friend Lee, he's been kind of under the weather, man. He had some weird, he calls it Ebola. Ebola, I think it's a weird name for it. But now he has some sort of cough, bold crap that he gets during the wintertime. So, hope you're feeling better, Lee, and we definitely miss you. But we found a competent enough replacement in our very own Doc.
Hey, how are you doing?
How you doing, buddy?
Good.
Is this your first time on Dr. Homebrew, Dr. Lothamer?
Officially, yes.
He's been on our show before.
Oh, that's right. You crashed it once.
I crashed it once, yeah.
You're like, dude,
he was kind of buzzed that time, too. It was fun. He was like, but he was schooling us on water. We were like, oh, you just talk for a while, Doc. We'll just sit back and make it easy on us.
Hey, got to fill the content somehow.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what I always say. I need to fill content because I'm too dumb to do it otherwise. I don't really say that, but
You think it.
Yeah, I do think it. That's for sure. Yeah, we have a good show for you guys, but before we get there, of course, I want to start off by thanking our show sponsor, 5 Star. You can go to 5starchemicals.com, and you can learn all about the loveliness that is cleaning and then sanitizing. Right, Doc? We talk about this on the session. We talk about it on every stupid show that we do. Oh, yeah. You have to clean it first. You have to get all in little creases and crevices and threads, and then you can sanitize it.
You can't sanitize scum.
That's right. That's right.
Got to get the scum out of there.
Yeah, that's what the jails are trying to do, and it just doesn't. I don't know, whatever.
First, peel off the layer of fuzz, then you can clean it, then you can sanitize it.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. You pull it all out, and that's what things like PBW are really great for. 5 Star, they have their chemistry down pat. They're making killer products to help you turn out killer beers, man, because as we talk about on the show quite often, you're going to have the best ingredients and the best ferment and the best process, and you nailed all your numbers and you do all your things, but if you put it in a dirty bottle, it's going to suck.
Right.
I mean, that's just what it's going to do.
All that work for nothing.
All that work for nothing. And I know from experience that it's just, it's better just to let it soak in. It's fast acting. It's really easy. Check it out, man. If you haven't used 5 Star Chemicals and you kind of honestly don't know what you're missing. So go to 5starchemicals.com, check that out. If your local homebrew shop doesn't carry 5 Star products, then tell them. Have a sit-in, man. Occupy your local homebrew shop.
It does take a lot of the drudgery out of the drudgery, which is brewing.
That's right.
Oh, I want to brew beer. Oh, this is all cleaning. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it does make it a lot easier, though.
That's true. Yeah, you don't have to sit there and scrub so much. So thank you to 5 Star. I appreciate it, guys. Okay, we have a couple cool beers, man. We have a dark mild, which is something I'm not familiar with. Apparently, that's in the new style guidelines that we're not really doing yet, Brian, but I failed to tell everybody that, and so now we're starting to see a couple of beers come through with the new style guidelines going on there.
Now that it's almost 2016, we might as well start using the 2015 guidelines, but I think the homebrew contestants on our show should let JP know which guidelines they're going by.
That would be cool.
Oh, hey, it's a 13A. Oh, is it a dry stout or is it a dark mild? We don't know.
Yeah. So Brian, whenever we talk to you, you'll hear it, Brian. It's we failed. I failed you. But that's fine. We'll be good. We'll
Don't
be all right.
fail me a second time.
And then we have something called a Bourbon Barrel Aged Pumpkin Ale, brewed in Kalamazoo, Michigan. What do you think about that?
Well, now that I know where it's brewed,
does that go up or down a couple points?
Yeah, let me revisit this question. Kalamazoo, that sounds like a cool place. I've never been there, but it sounds like a pretty spirited, interesting city.
I think we should go there right now. What do you think?
Okay.
Take the old bee and puddle jumper or whatever it is.
The old Gibson plant.
Yeah. Doc, you ready to talk about some beers, man?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, you saw you on Monday on the session, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
That
nice.
other show, yeah.
The other show.
Hey, it all comes
Did you
out
guys
of this
talk
pipeline anyway, right?
It really does.
Did you talk about beer at all that day?
No.
No, we had the whites in here.
That's right. So we talked about whatever.
A lot of yeast and
whatever they
all
want to talk
stuff.
about.
And,
Yeah, did you hear about their new thing they're doing, the yeast vault? Where they're if I remember it correctly, if I wasn't too drunk on the show, they're releasing a bunch of yeast that they don't normally go into production. So they have the platinum strains.
Yeah.
Cool. So you can choose those. So you can pre-order that essentially. Like I think they maybe have a selection of 6, I think, or 4 every once in a while, and whatever gets ordered. If it gets up to 250, it's kind of like a Kickstarter.
We'll grow it up for you.
They had a lot more you could order off of, but you don't get it until they get
250
people. Like one batch for it.
Critical mass. Yeah.
Yeah. So some weird esoteric, Polish lager strain. If that's up there, then you can have a hand in it.
Instead of them choosing the platinum strains, you can kind of have a hand in it and vote it up, and then they'll release it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's kind of a pre-order too. So you pre-order it. They don't charge you for it until it comes out, but
it's neat.
If it hits its critical mass, then everybody gets some. Then you get charged, and you get some awesome yeast that you're not going to usually get.
Yeah,
right on.
That's a pretty cool program.
It's like a social media, like a thumbs up or a thumbs down on that one, thumbs up on this one, and you can make it.
Yeah, and it's cool for them, right? Because they know exactly how much they have to make, and all that kind of stuff. So, let's get Brian on the phone here, and we're gonna let's just start the show, man. Let's jump right in. Brian, are you with us?
I am with you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Sounds great.
So now, Brian, you went to the new Star Wars movie today.
I did. I actually just got home maybe about an hour ago.
Okay, and I don't want any spoilers. Like I said in the email, I don't even want to know anything that you might think is just kind of a stupid, a side note that everybody knows. I don't even want to know about it. But on a scale from 1 to 10, how was it?
I think it was a great movie. I wouldn't say it was the best one, but J.J. Abrams did a really good job. It was a great movie. A little heartbreaking. I'm sure you read some of the posts or whatever. But
nope,
no spoilers.
Nope. Total media blackout
or whatever. But
it has to be right. It has. There's going to be emotion in every movie. There's emotion.
You're right.
So
it's the first of a trilogy, so bad things have to happen, right? To move the movie forward. So.
Right. But it was good.
Just going to leave this massive Star Wars spoiler here.
Yeah.
Have you seen that one?
It's like an actual car
it's like a car spoiler with Star Wars on it.
Well, that's cool, man. I'm glad. I'm going to go see it Saturday morning at 9 in the morning.
I did see the barricades up at the movie theater around the corner here.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. You can tell they're getting ready for the lines.
Yeah. I hope there's not that many. I mean, I guess tomorrow there's going to be a bunch of lines, but I hope Saturday morning, I hope there's no lines. I mean, because everyone has a ticket. Why are you waiting in line? Right. I guess for that good seat, but I don't know. I kind of don't care. I'll sit on the floor.
You just got to get up that early.
That's right.
Hop Grenade is still busy here. I don't know. Maybe they couldn't get tickets.
Maybe. All right, Brian. Let's jump in your beer here, man. How long have you been homebrewing?
I've been homebrewing for about 5.5 years. I was active duty Navy, living out in Hawaii. Just got married, and my wife was like, we both like drinking beer. Maybe we should make some beer together.
Oh, nice.
And so we started with extract. Lived in an apartment. Really couldn't do all grain.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we moved back here to Virginia, we have a deck and a place I can brew outside, so I moved to all grain. I do brew in a bag, a little bit easier, but I think I still get the same efficiency and the same flavor out of it. So
that's cool. It's a joint hobby. It sounds like.
It is.
Like
we have a 3-year-old, so she doesn't get to help out as much as she used to. But such is life.
Not on the hot side, anyway.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Well, hey, man, soon that 3-year-old's going to be helping out, so it'll be fine. You're just training the assistant, the next assistant, right?
That's my goal. And I was listening earlier. I do apologize for calling it a 13A when it should have been an 11A.
No,
at least for the 2008 guidelines. But
it's definitely not your fault. It's something that I just we haven't really adopted it. We talked about it when they first came out, and Brian and Lee and I kind of sat around like, well, let's just stick with the current guidelines of 2008 or whatever they were, until we can really break down what's new and maybe even do a show about it. And then I think everybody just kind of forgot. And so you're definitely not the only one. We have another one on the next show, I think, that threw in the brand new guidelines. So definitely not your fault. You have nothing to apologize for. I should have, when I saw the 13A on the cap, I should have clarified with you. So don't worry about it.
That's all right.
You're all good, man. But a dark mild. Now, not many people kind of brew that style. Is this the first time you've been working on something like this?
No, I did an oaked mild a few years ago. I was listening to a podcast that John Palmer had done, and he was talking about doing like an 11Z's kind of a podcast or a beer. And so I did that one, and then I've just noticed that now I've kind of moved into a lot darker beers. It seems like everything that I brew now is porters, stouts, but I kind of wanted something that was a little lower in alcohol.
Okay.
So that's kind of where I shot with this one, shooting for a much lower alcohol, easier drinking beer.
Yeah. There's and I'm just going to plug another show that we used to do, Can You Brew It? There's a show with Eagle Rock that they have. My favorite beer in the entire universe is a dark mild from them called Solidarity. So I'd check that recipe out if you're into brewing stuff like this, because this is my favorite style. I love it. All right, Brian, not Brian, our homebrew guest,
Hi.
but Brian, our BJCP judge. Why don't you start us off with Brian's beer here, man?
Yeah, so in the nose, there is some kind of a toasty malt going on in there, and somewhat nutty also. Has kind of a little bit of a kind of a graham crackery thing going on, and I'm getting some dark malt notes too. Maybe it's that I wanted it to be a 13A a dry stout, but there's actually is a little bit of like kind of roasty element in here. It's not heavy or anything, but it's like a little dark malt edge to it, a little kind of cocoa and coffee like notes in there. What I did also get is it's kind of, a little bit kind of musty, like slightly rough on there, a little odd in some parts of the nose there. But generally had low esters. It was kind of a sulfury note that I think was a little off-putting in there, and almost a little bit enteric kind of. But color-wise, medium light amber with had a very heavy kind of regenerating light tan head that just kept creeping up.
Regenerating. What do you mean by that?
Well, it was.
I mean, I know what the word means.
The sample that I judged separately from the show before coming here was it crept up into the neck, right up and out of the neck, and kept bubbling out. I had to keep pouring it into my glass to keep the thing from foaming over on the bottle. So something is alive and getting happy inside the bottle there. That's it might have been an individual bottle issue too. And the sample that we're tasting tonight,
it doesn't really seem to have that.
The nuttiness is a little bit more pleasant and a little smoother to me. I don't know what Doc's bottle was like, but we'll get to his notes later and see what he compares to this one too.
Because I noticed when you cracked the bottle and you poured it in, it seemed very effervescent.
It went right up, and then the head just dropped. Yeah. So in the appearance, it's kind of a medium light amber, and I think the glass last night, as I kept drinking it, and you drink it and set the bottle down, the head comes back, and that's what I meant by regenerating. But then it just fades again quickly, and the bubbles kind of collapse. Kind of interesting foam stand there. Kind of mostly finer bubbles, and they're just kind of dissipating on the top here in this case. But last night, just like I was judging it for 20 minutes, probably trying to get at what I was picking out in it. And it was still sticking around at the end of that too. So it's very, it appears to be very highly carbonated. When you get in the mouthfeel, we also found that it was very, very highly carbonated beer. So something's going on in that bottle that was keeping it going. And there's like, if you look at the bottle too, there's like almost a half an inch of foam just sitting in the top there, just inside the bottle. Yeah. After we poured our few samples here. So
Brian, do you keg or are you a bottle guy?
No, I keg, and these are the first ones that I actually use my beer gun on. I had just gotten a new beer gun right before that, and so I noticed in here with this one that it is definitely more carbonated than it was in the keg. So obviously something must be going on there, because when I initially made it, I made it for a very low volume, probably about 1.5 volumes of carbonation there, and this is definitely a lot more than that. So.
Yeah, I'd like to taste it with that. Yeah, it's driving a pretty big carbonic bite. That's part of what's getting in the way here of some of the other flavors that are there. So when I, color-wise, it's very much on the light end for the style, and then you get into the flavor, and it's got kind of a light little smoky note, and I felt like I got a little bit of a plastic phenolic in there too, just really light, just a hint of a plasticky thing, and some musty notes and a little, just like intense and biting.
Could that be just from the carbonation coming off the?
I think that from the flavors that are being pushed off are from whatever is getting happy in the bottle there.
Okay.
So I think
there's definitely something in the bottle.
It's probably bottle fill issues, and this beer is a lot better than what we're judging it as here if we had it off its keg. Because there are some pleasant qualities to it, and that toastiness and the nuttiness and the get slight richness.
Yeah, I do kind of get like a spicy, like a clove thing happen, like mid palate. Yeah, that's okay. All right. Interesting. And that's because you think something's set up shop somewhere along the line?
Something in the bottom.
All right.
It finishes very dry, and you can still taste the beer kind of behind the carbonic, it's like the carbonicness of the beer just kind of drives a lot of just bitingness, and it makes the harsh flavors seem harsher. It makes, if it was a very smooth beer to start with, and you just put carbon dioxide in solution is carbonic acid. It's an acidic biting thing. So it's, you talk mostly about carbonic bite in the mouthfeel, but in the flavor, it's going to drive some of those flavors. It's going to drive them out out of the beer too as you're smelling it, and it's pushing whatever got loose in there. All the flavor, the aromas from that up into your nose. It's just like, whoa, all these different crazy aromas in there. And it's like, what is going on here?
Do you think it's like modifying the aromas that are in there already, or is it releasing aromas that you wouldn't normally get if it was a lower carbonation?
The CO2 itself, it doesn't really have an aroma to it. It's just pushing what's there. So and same with the flavors. They present themselves differently because with that acid, it's like, well, if you had a slightly, just add a little acid or, add some vinegar to your nice mild, and it's going to taste a little different. It's not, carbonic acid is a really mellow, light acid. It's not like something that'll melt your teeth off if you had it in a high concentration, but it is very detectable, and it does, like I said, drive the flavors differently. So, it's in the mouthfeel. It's kind of biting and astringent and funky and kind of leathery feeling. Very high carbonation. It's not smooth at all. It's a light bodied, and it's all about the carbonation in the flavor, in the mouthfeel. There's no obvious warmth or anything. There's a fair amount of elements of the beer that you can taste what it would taste like if the carbonation was right and something hadn't gotten loose in the bottle, the declared style, but it is masked by the defects that are there getting pushed up in there. So I'm sorry, Brian. We would love to come over and taste it with you there in your garage, but it's not going to happen. So I gave it a 20, and I think that it's hard to properly judge it knowing what you've told us, that this should be a low carbonated beer, and that what we have is a high carbonated kind of mess with, it's just obviously a bottling issue, and that's the one thing you'd have to fix for us to be able to properly judge it. So,
but it tastes like there's a solid beer underneath there somewhere.
Yeah, I think, recipe wise, it is really high on the toasty flavors, and there's some serious nuttiness in there. There's a little bit of a light chocolatey thing too. So I think what is there is pretty good. There can be a wide range of it. I'm not getting a big toffee-like or a really smooth English malt quality, but again, it could just be the way it's presenting itself. Sanitation in the bottle, and I'd change out any soiled plastic equipment, getting it from whatever you're transferring it in after it's cooled down, and just anything that comes in contact with the beer after you cool it.
Okay,
but yeah.
Brian, you were saying something there, but I had you potted down a little bit. Anything you wanted to say to the other Brian?
Oh no, I was just saying that that's the reason that I guess that is always the challenge. You have beer in a keg, and then you bottle it to send it off somewhere, and you never know what's actually going to happen once it goes in the bottle.
That's true.
So
we also like to blame JP for bouncing it around in the trunk of his car. We always talk about how shittily JP treats his beer.
That's true. The day
and other people's.
That's true. The day before, I go driving in the desert. I glue all the bottles to my car and then just drive around.
He opens all the bottles, exposes them to the desert funk that is.
Yeah, I think it's amazing.
Brings them back and puts them in his oven at whatever temperature.
Hey, it's his show. He gets to do what he wants.
That's right. All right, Doc, you're up, buddy. Your first official Dr. Homebrew, non-crashing segment.
Well, this bottle's definitely different than the one I had. I can actually taste some toasty and roasty and actually a mild behind it. But the one I had that I judged earlier today was so dry, so fizzy. I probably got the worst one. Even Brian's didn't seem as bad as the one I had. It just was. First thing was the aroma was very astringent, soapy, musty, definitely.
Okay.
I could even smell the diacetyl in there.
Oh, wow.
That one.
Okay.
And then very overcarbonated. Now that I know which style it is, I bumped your points for the color back up a little bit because it's a little light for the style, but it's pretty good that way. This bottle is definitely. I can actually taste the nuttiness and the toastiness in it, but it's still definitely infected.
Okay.
So it goes along with all the infected stuff. You're going to have very dry, very acidic. You're going to have that overcarbonated mouthfeel. There's almost no sweetness of backbone at all of the one I had earlier today.
Yeah.
Where I get it in this one. So the bottles are different.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah, I noticed a difference too, and mine was more like what your other one was.
Yeah, this doesn't taste all that bad, but so yeah. All right.
It's still a big diacetyl bomb.
Okay. Oh, I don't get any of that at all, but
I can drink it.
Okay.
It's got.
You're like the most diacetyl sensitive person that I know.
I
for
really
sure.
am, and I can taste it a mile away. So when other people can't, I'm still going to taste it. But this is a lot.
Okay.
And that's from the infection too.
Okay.
And I really wish I could have had some of the keg beer.
Yeah.
Because this doesn't have the creamy mouthfeel that it should.
Okay.
This is why English session beers are by nature
in the cask,
lightly carbonated.
Yeah. But this is definitely this one's overcarbonated too.
It still is. Yeah.
So that's the main thing. Is just it's just infected somewhere, and I'm wondering why this bottle's a little different than the other one, unless it's the bottle issue. Mm-hmm. One bottle's a little more contaminated than the other one, possibly. Otherwise, they'd be all the same.
Yeah, it's funny because the one I judged last night was sitting in my fridge for a couple weeks and stored carefully and gently transferred to where I was judging it. And then this one rode around in my car all day, and it's still not throwing up as much foam as the one.
Yeah, definitely the one I had was much more.
Yeah. So at least we got the good bottle to the better of the three bottles.
Yeah, right. Because I can actually taste the back beer now.
Yeah. So can I, and it tastes pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's everything a dark, mild foundation needs to be.
Right. So I can actually tell it was actually probably a pretty good beer to start with.
Yeah.
We just didn't arrive there.
That's true. All right. Thanks, Doc.
I gave it a 22.
Okay. Cool.
But just because of the infection issues.
Standard, for sure.
Because we can't get past that. We don't know what's behind
what's doing.
Yeah,
it's tough, especially with that kind of stuff. Throws a lot of shade on what
you can't even tell
what the beer is.
You can't judge it within the category.
Yeah, that's weird that it would kind of range like that. I wonder if there is a range where maybe just by this one, whatever was contaminating the other two bottles just kind of flushed out. And there's a little bit of residual here.
Could be. Yeah, because it's definitely a different level.
Yeah. No. Brian, do you have any questions for the guys?
Well, I mean, obviously, we talked about sanitation and that kind of stuff. Yeah. I mean, I'm, disappointed that we couldn't really talk about the beer. I mean, it is obviously, just the nature of the beast. Because it was, in my opinion, and a lot of my friends' opinion, it was a very pleasantly drinking beer. And unfortunately, you guys got the short end of the stick, I guess.
But we can taste all the pleasantness. You can kind of fight through it. And the more beers that you judge, especially homebrews and stuff, you can kind of peek around the flaws. I think. I don't know if you guys in studio have similar things, but you can kind of go, this is here and this is here, but. Part of what makes a good judge is that you can see through that and go, well, this malt, and I know what a little contamination will do to a light malt beer, and kind of look past those flavors to, there's no off fermentation. I don't think it's a fermentation issue.
No.
Yeah.
No, this is all afterwards.
So I think you're pretty much in the clear, Brian. Except just a little bottling thing.
What month did you bottle it? Was it hot outside?
No. So, I brewed it back in August, and then I sent it off to JP maybe about a month ago, maybe a little bit more than that. I think he wanted me to get it there by mid-November. Mm-hmm. So I think, I was pretty close to the end of the keg there. I had made it for our Iron Brew competition in middle September, and so I had maybe about a third of the keg left. So. So that's kind of where that one was at.
And now it's all gone, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
We need to,
But, that's, I still think, you can at least get something out of this, Brian, where, that if it was in the keg for that long and when you drank it, you weren't getting these flavors that the guys are talking about. I think it's a lot easier to pinpoint what the issue might be, which is just maybe from the beer gun to the bottle.
Yeah,
maybe something in there, or maybe just the bottle itself or the cap. I mean, it's hard to say for sure, but at least it's not. Well, it could be from the friggin' boil kettle after it's cooled all the way through the system. So
he would have picked it up probably
for sure
at that.
Yeah,
this is pretty apparent.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty mellow, which means it's not. It hasn't been manifesting for a long time.
No, you didn't get the other bottles.
Well, that's true. You're right. I didn't.
Yeah, and these beers are also not really meant to be aged. They're meant to be drank young and just enjoyed while they're fresh and young, and just they're light and they're refreshing, and they're just smooth drinking beers. So
just like me, I'm meant to be enjoyed when I'm young.
I mean, but I don't think that the 4 months of age that this thing got between then and now is what's causing that. So
no, I didn't get much oxidation out of it.
Yeah, no, it doesn't seem oxidized.
No.
I didn't get the diacetyl that Doc is. I mean, I can taste diacetyl just fine, but maybe not to the threshold that he's detecting it. So
yeah, Doc's pretty sensitive.
He's the guy that they use as the human threshold.
That's
test.
right. That's right. All right, really? Brian, we'll let you go, man, if you don't have anything else.
No, that's it, man.
Okay.
Like I said, next time I will work on my my bottling process a little bit. I used to bottle carb.
Just stick to kegs. You do it well.
Well, we want him back on the show. That's the problem.
Okay.
So
send us a keg.
Yeah, maybe break. See, there you go. Now Brian's thinking. Maybe break your beer gun down and just kind of make sure all the connections are clean. And then, are you coming to NHC? Maybe bring some beer in your keg, to NHC, and we'll try it then.
That is my plan, since it's only a few hours away now, as opposed to going to San Diego. So.
Right.
Nice. Yeah, we'll give you a free entry on the next show.
There you go.
For real.
All right, I appreciate it, guys.
All right, Brian. Thanks, man.
All right, y'all have a
Sorry we couldn't judge it so well.
Well, that's too bad. You can tell he's bummed out, man, and that sucks. But he's getting some. Look, he'll be getting a nice prize pack from 5 Star, and either a nice little gift certificate from Grog Tag or High Gravity Brew. So he'll get something for his troubles, and that's cool.
2 packs of 5 Star.
People are friendly and understanding generally on this show. It's like, there's reasons.
I always fear that I bottle and send it out there, and then hopefully they don't get the unlucky bottle or something. That one.
And it sounds like this was his first run on the beer gun. So who knows? But I hate to leave people bummed out like that. But Brian, I don't think you have too much to worry about, man. Like I said, you count yourself lucky that you don't have a deeper contamination issue than what I think is apparent in the bottles.
Yeah, the recipe seemed good, and it seems like he knows what he's doing otherwise.
Yeah.
So just straight bottling issue, that's one problem, and you can fix that
easily. All right, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to jump into this Bourbon Barrel Pumpkin Ale. I almost called it a porter, but I don't know what it is, but we'll find out. It's definitely intriguing. It's also Dr. Homebrew. We'll be back right after this.
Hello, fellow BNers. This is Sully from the 21st Amendment Brewery located in San Francisco, just 2 blocks from Giants Park. Before Nico and I opened the 21A and before I was a professional brewer, I homebrewed on my small 4-burner apartment stove in a back house in Santa Monica, California, making my extract brews before graduating to the daunting idea of all-grain brewing. Homebrew books and information was hard to come by back then. The internet hadn't been invented yet, along with other things we take for granted today, like electricity and potable water. One thing I wish I had back then when I was learning was a radio show that could teach me the ins and outs of brewing and answer questions that I had about homebrewing, a resource for making great craft beer. The 21st Amendment Brewery is excited to be a proud sponsor of Dr. Homebrew, a great show that teaches you what you need to know about making incredible beer. Good stuff. Listen up, you might learn something. I certainly did. And thanks for your support. Tasty Crack Games.
Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making.
That's it. I've had it. I am never putting hops in my beer again.
What? Why?
It's just too ridiculous. Insane prices, stupid contracts, high shipping costs, crappy selection.
Dude, you need Nico Brew.
Nico Brew will rock your f***ing face right the f*** off your f***ing skull. $5 shipping to all 50 states. Plus fantastic international rates get you low prices on Nico Brew's great selection of hops and more. Whether you're a home brewer, a pro brewer, or a homebrew shop owner, Nico Brew can get you the hops you need in increments big and small, single orders, spot buys, or full contracts. And there's only one place to join the uber special secret elite bare bones club where you'll get the best deals anywhere.
Holy shit.
NicoBrew.com. NIKOBREW. Nico Brew, your bare bones buddy in the brewing business.
Beer tasting games that train your palate, a brewery locator, and the brand new interactive beer style guide. These are just a few of the awesome things you'll find on craftbeer.com. The style guide is a beautiful example of technology in beer. Browse beer style families or turn on the automatic beer style finder and explore beer through color, bitterness, ABV, aroma, and flavor. It's really the coolest way to explore every beer style besides having them all in front of you. Go to craftbeer.com and click on Beer Styles to start the guide. Plus, enjoy the rest of craftbeer.com, the Brewers Banter blogs, beer education, how to host a beer tasting, and the invaluable Draft Quality Manual. Tons of great content that makes your beer better. Visit the new craftbeer.com right now and explore the website that brings you all the passion, camaraderie, and creativity of the craft beer community. Craftbeer.com, celebrating the best of American beer. Now, back to the examination.
All right. Thanks for sticking with us, everyone. It's Dr. Homebrew. On the line, we have another Brian. Not the same Brian, but the same spelling of the name. And so for me, it's very confusing. And I don't know about any listeners, but I'm a little... I think I got the right Brian. I'm just kidding. Brian, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
How you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you?
Perfect. Thanks for joining us on this lovely Thursday evening.
Thank you.
Now, you sent us a bunch of beer, so I think we're going to talk to you a couple more times. At least once next month, I think, right?
I
think so.
I don't know.
We'll see how it goes here.
Maybe that's the other Brian. Hang up on this guy and we'll...
Just say sure.
Sure. Okay, so you have the Bourbon Barrel Pumpkin Ale, right?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. See, now Brian, our Brian confused me, and I wanted to make sure that I actually was calling the right Brian. Anyway, Brian, let's kick this thing off here. How long have you been a homebrewer, man?
2 years.
2 years? Okay. And is this your first attempt at this kind of... I mean, this is a monster beer, man. There's a ton of ingredients. There's candied ginger root, milk sugar, Maker's Mark, and French oak. All that kind of... Is this your first time doing this or what?
Yeah.
Okay. What made you decide to just jump in? I wouldn't have felt comfortable to do a beer like this for at least 5 years.
I wanted to come up with a heavy pumpkin ale.
Okay.
And not just I don't know.
Almost like an old ale or something, right? Like big malty, chewy kind of a deal?
Yeah.
Okay. I got it. Okay, well, cool. Did you just make this up yourself, or you just kind of did you find a recipe online?
I kind of used a variation of the pumpkin clone.
Who makes that?
Pumpkin?
Yeah. Jester King, I would imagine, or I don't know.
Oh, shoot.
I got you on the spot now.
Yeah, you do.
That's all right.
I've never heard of this pumpkin. At first, I just thought he was really buzzed. Like, that's the way when you're just wasted that you say the word pumpkin. No.
We can Google it. It's fine.
We'll figure it out.
Okay, so you just did a little spin off that. That's cool. Right on, man. All right, Brian, you're up, dude. Our Brian, not you, Brian.
Hi.
By the way, it's brewed by Southern Tier.
Southern Tier, okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, that sounds familiar now. I don't know my commercial beers, man. I got to get better at that.
And more.
Yeah, well, we don't get it up here, out here, over here, in here, through here.
No, you don't get some other stuff, but there was some stuff in that box that...
Oh, that's right. Yes, thank you very much for that. I gave Brian one of those, and I meant to bring one for Lee. I'll probably just throw it to Doc. There's a couple Founders beers at Founders.
Brian's the source of the Founders Breakfast Stout there?
Yes.
Okay, excuse me. Let me just bump up his score by a couple points here.
But there was also a KBS in there.
I think JP kept that for himself.
No, I do have that. Hey, I am not Scott. I will hand over all of my beers. I share it with my friends. Yes, I meter them out. So I think, and I've totally forgot about it actually. But next show, I think we'll bring one in to drink on the air and taste it, and that whole kind of thing.
Must be present to win.
Must be present to win. That's right. All right, Brian, go ahead and judge this the Bourbon Barrel Pumpkin Ale. Please.
Yeah, well, bourbon is the first word here, and I went digging for the boozy note in there, and there is a lightly boozy note in the aroma detected with the beer, pretty well in balance. Sometimes you get a boozy beer and it's just too much of the booze. But in tandem with that, we're getting a big gingery aroma, and it is other spices in the aroma. It seems lightly spicy, kind of pumpkin pie like spices in general, but there's a lot going on in the aroma. There's a little alcohol in there too. There's medium esters, a little tiny bit of kind of earthy floral hop in there. Just a bit muddled, a lot of things going on there, but it's you were going big, so hey. Appearance wise, it's a bright, clear, fairly clear amber color. Medium head sinks to a low cover fairly quickly, but it stuck around for a little while, and mostly finer bubbles. I've got a little collar here now. It did kind of drop in this glass, but last night it stuck around a little bit. It does. The flavor, it comes through with a big a woody note and a big ginger note. Those two things kind of really stick out. The ginger, we were talking about it earlier, and it does come across a little bit, it's spicy and hot. Ginger can have some fire to it. It comes across kind of cinnamon-like. I'm getting like kind of an atomic fireball character in this.
Yeah, I got that too.
So yeah, it's like, and it's sweet. So it also has a little bit. It tastes a little bit like reminiscent of that childhood candy that you used to just hoard on the school bus and eat 20 of them in a row until your tongue almost fell off. Yeah, so the alcohol in here too is kind of fighting with the spices there. There's a lot like kind of fighting for your attention in here. It's more of a clovey in the spice and indistinct kind of than like a warm nutmeggy spice, which I might prefer. It does have that big bite from the ginger, so it's an interesting flavor. It's kind of as declared, like as an intense pumpkin beer, a big like woohoo. This is not your father's pumpkin beer. It's got booze in there too, so yeah. But a lot of wood, and in the mouthfeel especially, that comes through. You get the wood tannins just dominating the mouthfeel. Just really biting the tongue, and it's kind of an astringent tannic character that just takes over. Some obvious alcohol warmth in there too. In the back of the throat, you feel it. Medium carbonation. Well, I don't know, what was the ABV on this thing? I didn't even.
This is the label says 9%.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's a big one. So medium carbonation, kind of low creaminess, medium body, lightly biting, maybe also from the ginger there. But although the beer comes through kind of as declared, it presents itself as a spicy and a lightly boozy beer with a lot of. You never really taste the pumpkin. What you're going for is the pumpkin pie spices character. And this, the balance of the spices is kind of odd. It's tilted heavily towards that ginger and maybe I don't know if there's some, what other spices are in this. We can talk about that, but it's kind of clove-like. And then, there's maybe a little bit of the nutmeg and allspice kind of thing in there too, and cinnamon. But just like a little muddled and kind of leaning way too heavily towards the ginger, which if you're a fan of ginger and you want it to taste like this, by all means brew this beer over and over and over again and drink the hell out of it. But for a balance perspective, from a judging perspective, it's tilted and twisted a little bit. So, and the wood is just like, I would definitely back off on the wood aging for this too. It's just biting, and the tannins start to dominate the mouthfeel, and it's just makes it a little harsher to drink that way. But the booze that's there should be enough to keep it interesting. The alcohol level that's there, and if you have a clean alcohol, it seems like it is not a hot, harsh alcohol. It's just the wood combined with that makes it seem harsher than it is. So I like the beer as without knowing exactly what style it was. It was just presented as a pumpkin ale. I just kind of judged it as a combination of a spice, a vegetable and wood-aged beer, and has all of that. It's all coming through. It's intense, but I gave it like a 32. I thought you could use some balance improvements, and you could back off the alcohol a little bit too and still keep it pretty interesting, but definitely back off the wood. And when you do push a beer up this high in the alcohol, keep good temperature control to keep it from being solventy. It's not too harsh, but like I said, there might be a little solvent, but combining with everything else that's there, it just seems a little biting to me. But anyway, tasty beer, and thanks for sharing it. I thought it was kind of fun, but I don't think I could drink mass quantities of it. It would be hard to. It's definitely a sipper.
Yes, it definitely tastes like it. I mean, at 9%, and with that big malt bill, that's. I agree. It's definitely a sipper, which it sounds like what Brian was going for.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, okay. All right, Doc. You're up.
Right.
You're up, handsome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, I am. But that's why it's radio. So, if you took pumpkin out of the whole title here, I'd be a happy man. Because I was looking for the pumpkin the whole time, and it just wasn't there.
I actually brewed it with 4 pounds of pumpkin.
Did you use it raw? Or did you roast it first?
I roasted it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, because I didn't get that at all. And
well, I think with the fruit or the vegetable, the gourd, whatever it is, right. I think it is kind of hard to.
It's tough. I've done it before. It's a lot of work too.
Yeah, for sure.
It doesn't always come through.
It doesn't always, and you got a lot of stuff coming through. Like Brian was saying, there's a lot of stuff masking at the spice from the ginger. Ginger goes a long way, and it doesn't fade out. So I've made a couple of those before, and you got to really hold that one back. But so the aroma, I got a lot of sweetness out of it. That's probably from the alcohol and from the ginger both. Heavy oak aroma, no hop aroma. I did get some solvent, kind of, higher alcohols coming out of there, a little bit of nail polish. You had a 9% beer. Are you calculating 9% before you put the bourbon in there?
Yes.
Yeah, I figured it. Yeah, doing that. So when you put in 9% beer, it's real easy to get some solvent in there. You got to be real careful with how fast it's gonna race through all that sugar. 9% beer, that's the one thing you got to really be careful of. It'll come out hot a little bit, and it's not bad. It's barely there, but if it's there, I gotta tell you about it.
Yeah. No, that's fine. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. So on that, you just kind of watch how fast that ferment is. You put sugar in this one too.
Yeah.
Putting the sugar in later helps too. Don't put it all in at once and let them all eat it up all at once.
Right. Well, with all the pumpkin too, there, you're converting all the pumpkin starches to sugars in your mash there, and it's just that'll dry out the beer further too, and make some of the things seem harsher.
Yeah. So, but if you really wanted to ferment all the way through, so that's what I got in the aroma, and overall not bad. Just a lot of oak, I think, mostly kind of came through. Appearance, it's a nice gold color, a little bit cloudy, but that's okay. It's a big beer. The head fades really quickly, and that's probably from the higher alcohol in there. Just you got a lot of alcohol in there. It's not going to hold the head very much on that one. So flavor, real sweet. Probably I can taste a lot of alcohol in there. You'll get that. You can mask that around a little bit too. Again, they got a lot of oak tannins, so it comes across as really astringent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, and so you can handle that. I'll talk about that one in a minute, a little bit. Again, no hop flavor, which is fine because if you're going for like an old ale, I kind of get that in this. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like that sipper kind of big chewy beer, kind of like an old ale. That's what I get out of this thing. It's a good backbone for this.
Yeah. Well, I think, and now that he mentioned the pumpkin, that he roasted it, and I don't know if it's just power of suggestion, but tasting this, I can taste roasted pumpkin, but I think it maybe it's camouflaged in the, there's, some crystal malts in here, and maybe that milk sugar kind of, that sweetness covers up some of that, roasted pumpkin flavor.
Yeah, I feel like there is some pumpkin in here, too, and it has this kind of a cool orangey, like golden amber color.
It's a nice color.
It's really, if that's coming through from the pumpkin, then that's pretty cool too.
All right, sorry, Doc, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
That's fine. So the mouthfeel, I thought it was a little bit thin, and I got some alcohol heat at the end.
Yeah,
yeah, that's what Larry Bell told me too.
So that's fermentation stuff. It makes it get unbalanced mostly. Mm-hmm. You're going to want a beer like this to have a little bit of kind of some maltiness or something behind that.
Yeah.
Just to let it, you got to have more of a rounded mouthfeel with it.
How old is this beer, Brian? When did you brew this thing?
The bottling date is on the label there.
Oh, okay.
It was bottled 11/21/14.
Oh, wow. Okay, wow, yeah. Oh, yeah, here we go. On October 19th, 2014.
Which is probably why we're not getting any kind of hops out of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it'll fall. It's kind of what aging does.
Yeah.
The hops will fall out and everything mellows in.
Yeah, that goes along with your aged thing there, too. It does. But if you had too much hops in here, too, it would just be too mumuch going on even more. So, yeah.
It'll take a little bit longer for that to kind of come across there. So what I'm getting is just too much. Mainly my thing on this one was just too much oak. I just couldn't kind of get past that one.
Okay.
Did you put oak chips in the keg or into the carboy and let it sit that way?
When I sent you guys the beers, I sent 3 of them.
Yeah.
I had split the batch, and I aged part of the batch on the light toast oak chips all by themselves, and then I aged part of the batch, which is what you're drinking now, on oak chips that I soaked in Maker's Mark.
Uh-huh.
And then the other part of the batch I didn't do anything. I didn't do any aging with. I just bottled it as is.
Okay. I think we'll drink that next time too, and check that out.
I've made quite a few bourbon barrel beers, and I found what I like to do is, and I've talked to a lot of people. They soak the chips in bourbon, and they throw the chips in there. I do it the other way around. I throw the chips away, and because now the Maker's Mark tastes a lot like oak.
Yeah,
and
that is a pretty heavily oaked bourbon.
Right. So then you can titrate it back into the keg.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not actually aging the wood on the beer.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're aging the Maker's Mark with the wood chips. Then you take the wood chips out, and that Maker's Mark is going to be pretty strongly oaked.
Yeah.
Then you can use regular Maker's Mark, straight Maker's Mark, and kind of blend it back where you want it. And that way you can get the amount of oak you want back into the beer, and that's the best way to get. Otherwise, you've soaked all the wood pretty much out of the chips.
Well, that's true, yeah.
That's a smart way to control it there, Doc. I like that.
Okay.
I like that.
Okay.
You know, the other thing, too, is when you put wood chips in the beer and they're sitting in the bottom of your fermenter and you're pulling samples off and tasting it, you know, a lot of the wood flavor could be sitting at the bottom, and those are kind of heavier flavor components that could be lurking down there. And then when you transfer it to your keg or your bottling bucket or whatever, it's all going to mix in there. It could, like, take over.
And you don't know how long it's going to take.
Right.
If you overdo it with the oak, you can't undo it.
Well, that's true. Right.
So it's easier to add it back in there a little at a time.
Yeah,
totally.
If this is a good beer to blend stuff back in and titrate it in, as you don't overdo it with spices and or oak flavors and things like that.
How long was the oak on this beer, Brian? Do you remember?
The bourbon barrel, it was on it for 7 days.
Oh, wow.
That's reasonable.
Yeah, that's especially with chips, too.
And see how it can go haywire really fast.
Yeah, that's weird.
And 7 days should have been fine.
How much wood, though, and how much beer?
It was a 1 gallon batch, and it was half an ounce.
That's probably too much. I would put an ounce in 5 gallons.
Yeah.
No, I'll put 2 ounces in 5 gallons.
So half an ounce.
That's a little less than half an ounce, but not that much less.
Okay.
Still.
But yeah.
Is it too much? I don't know.
Well, I mean,
7 days.
Chips are different than cubes, too.
Yeah.
The surface area.
I would love this beer. Well, hold on a second. Because that implies that I don't like this beer. I would like to. What I do when I oak stuff, which hasn't been for a while, but I use the cubes because you get that kind of range of flavor because those chips are just, they toast the staves and then they fraction it off the toasted part for the chips, but what they don't, or no, they don't. They cut everything, they chip everything up, and then they toast it all at once. But the cubes they have that layered. So if you look at the side of a cube, it's layered. It goes from dark to light. Yeah, and so there's a whole range of flavors that you don't get from using just chips as you would to replicate more of a barrel thing. And the cubes will give you that longer soak.
Yeah, I haven't used chips in a long time. I've gone to cubes a long time.
Well, ago. I'll do chips in the ferment. Because a lot of the stuff, the aromatics will bubble off from fermentation, but you get the body tannins in there, and that might help as well too. You kind of lock all that stuff in, so it's not astringent tannins; it's just structural tannins, like wine, just structure. And then you throw in cubes in the ferment, or not the ferment, in the keg or something. But anyway, there's a million ways to do it. I'm sure
it was oak. Yeah, was it American oak or?
French oak.
French oak.
Okay. Yeah.
No, I could taste the French oak.
Yeah, for sure.
French oak is
smoother.
It's a good choice for this beer.
French oak is like spicy.
Yeah.
You can tell the difference.
Okay.
That's a good choice for that. I mean, American might be. That would be cool to do, man. And next time you do this beer, maybe just try, because there's Hungarian too, which is a little sweeter. French to me is sweet, and American has that kind of not super sweet, but more like, I don't know, more coconut, I guess, than vanilla.
Well, that's. The other beer is on light toast American chips.
Oh, okay. Well, we gotta drink that one next.
We'll get there.
Yeah. Sorry, Doc. Go ahead. I don't know.
No, I'm done.
Okay.
Pretty much. I scored. I give you a 29. It's just a balance thing on it. It's not a bad beer at all. I can't really get any faults except for maybe the hotter alcohol from the ferment.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just more of a balance thing.
What temp did you ferment at, Brian?
50 7 degrees.
Yeah, with Cal Ale.
Yes. Yep.
Why is it so hot, Doc? What do you think? I mean, there's two. So you put 2 pounds of corn sugar and a pound of milk sugar.
Yes.
That's a lot of sugar alongside the pumpkin there. I mean, just the yeast will kind of get lazy and eat that stuff up first, and then it has to sit there and chew on the malt sugars, and it's like, wait a minute, I got to switch gears here, kind of thing.
Well, a lot of times they won't even do that. They won't even make the enzymes up if they've got all the simple sugars.
Free, easy, simple stuff.
They don't in their lag phase. They're not going to start pumping out the other things that they need to go for the maltose.
It did seem to chew through that though too here because it is very dry. So yeah.
And then I did bump it up, I think 4 degrees like the last week.
Yeah.
So it was an ale yeast at 57? That's
Cal Ale will still do it.
Yeah, it'll go.
It probably chugged real hard, though.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's stress. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder if...
Yeah, it could be if your pitch wasn't big enough, especially for such a big beer.
Yeah, I mean, Cal Ale will go that low, but it doesn't like it. I mean, 57 that's pretty...
It'll go even lower. I've heard it go even lower than that. Big chug's slow, but you're right. It could be not a big enough pitch, and it stressed the yeast too much.
I wonder if forgive me, Brian. I don't know if this is even in the realm of what you sent this in for, but I wonder if the ginger is accentuating the hot alcohol, because it's hard for me to believe it's over a year old. It's 9%. There's a lot of sweetness in there. Obviously he's fermented very low with a clean yeast. I mean, what's the hotness from? Maybe it's one of the spices, or I don't know. I guess we'll never know.
You get some heat from ginger too, so it could be. But I definitely picked up a low solvency like Doc did in there.
It's low, but it's not there. It's not overwhelming like I'm.
Not just spicy, but yeah, it was low. It wasn't intense, but yeah, probably again just stress.
Okay. Brian, do you have any questions for the guys?
No.
Yeah. No. Okay. With a big beer like this too, you want to make sure to oxygenate the heck out of it at the beginning too, and maybe even after it starts kicking off a little bit more, you can oxygenate it another 12 hours later, give it another kick to keep that yeast going.
I do. If it's a big beer like this, it's not going to start right away. It's going to take a good 18 to 20 hours sometimes. So I'll oxygenate it every 6 hours. If I'm around.
It was pretty much to the top of the fermenter inside of probably about 18 hours.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's one of those weird... I'd put my money on the ginger. I like it. I don't know, man. I like it. I think it's definitely a good recipe. I wouldn't deviate too far away from it for sure. But I think there is a balance thing going on. But I couldn't tell you. With beers like this, for me, there's so much going on that it's hard to say for sure if it's one thing or another.
Is that a hot alcohol or hot ginger? Yeah.
I don't know.
It'd be interesting to taste it with a little less ginger and a little less wood.
That'd be my two things.
We got the non-oaked one. I think we'll do that maybe next month. I'll work with Brian to see if we can get him back on, and then we can go over it then, and maybe that'll be a little more clear. I don't know. All right, Brian. Well, if that's it, man, we'll let you go.
Hey, thanks. I appreciate it.
All right, man. For sharing it. Yeah,
Thank you.
Fun chatting with you.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Excuse me. Decent beer, man. Sometimes homebrewers, man, they can be pretty creative.
I
like that. Okay, we're going to take a break here, but before we do, I wanted to let you guys know that our friends at Grog Tag, they're a pretty big sponsor of the show. They have a Kickstarter program, which they're calling it's the next step in personalizing your homebrew. Grog Tag custom tap handles. These things are seriously cool. They're designed to be modular, so you can pick up one base and several toppers to easily rotate between different tap handles. So, they have a stem that's probably about 3 or 4 inches long, and then that's right, laying down. And then they have a square head, and then they'll print on whatever custom logo that you want. So just like their labels. You can either use their artwork, you can use your own artwork, that kind of stuff. And then when you want to switch out a beer, you just unscrew the top and, throw it back on. So you can buy one base and then, 4 toppers if you wanted. It seems pretty cool. Let's see. I lost my place here. Here we go. Head over to grogtag.com/Kickstarter, which is much easier than going to Kickstarter and, /19485, and check out how you can help make this project a reality for these guys. Grogtag is known for having very high standards and delivering that in every box. We all know that for sure. And tap handles they're really no different. We've spent a long time talking about the quality of grog tags, and these tap handles look to be no different than that, man. It's going to be awesome.
Slice up a piece of wood in their garage and get the wood burner out and do, and make a homespun tap handle. But I think these guys will do it right for sure.
Absolutely. It's pretty cool, man. And besides engraving, really you can get your own. There's places out there where you can get your initials engraved on it or whatever. But that's not. I mean, that's kind of 80s. Really your initials, like you're monogramming your tap handles. So it seems like there's no one really offering a commercially printed handle at an affordable price with no 5 order minimum or whatever. I think things are going to be pretty cool, man. So, as with anything on Kickstarter, you get some pretty cool rewards for backing it, like additional bases, additional toppers, free coasters even, too. So if you throw your image there, you can get that on coasters, too, and kind of just trick out your whole entire thing, man. So you got your coasters, you got your branded tap handle, you can, do your labels in the same design. And
bottle caps.
You got it all, man. So grogtag.com/Kickstarter, and support the people who support us, man, because I tell you what, they definitely are nice folks. They're very generous people, and they're not bad looking to boot. All right, we're going to take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to divvy out some prizes and then go get a beer. It's Dr. Homebrew back after this.
Do you know the 3 most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star Sand, SaniClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today. High Gravity Homebrewing Supplies wants you to keep it simple. Brewing should be fun. And with High Gravity's amazing electric brewing systems, it is. High Gravity keeps their brewing systems simple, on purpose. More efficient than gas, customizable, and with your choice of 1, 2, or 3 vessels, High Gravity's electric brewing systems will completely change the way you brew beer, formulate recipes, and improve your beer's consistency. Dave at High Gravity can customize your system to fit your needs. High Gravity invites you to visit their Build Your Own Brewery page and see how easy it can be to brew electric. And High Gravity offers $7.99 flat rate shipping on most of their products. www.highgravitybrew.com. High Gravity. Keep it electric. Keep it simple. Visit highgravitybrew.com. Ken Grossman of Sierra Nevada Brewing Company says making great beer is hard. Making the same great beer every day is harder. Brewers Publications announces its latest release for breweries of any type and size. Quality Management, an essential guide for brewers by Mary Pelletieri. Proper quality management for small, regional, and national breweries is critical. Whether you are an established business or brand new, learn the best ways to create and manage a quality system in your brewery. This book will guide you in developing a comprehensive program that will grow with your brewery, help ensure quality processes in the brewery, and continue providing great beer for your fans. Quality management for breweries is critical for continued success. This guidebook teaches you to integrate quality management in every level of the operation. It will guide you in developing a comprehensive program to ensure quality processes in your brewery. Quality Management, an essential guide for brewers, now available
from Brewers Publications. Learn more at brewerspublications.com. Admit it. Homebrewing is not always free of frustrations. Years ago, brothers Bill and Jim Mitchell decided to minimize those frustrations and create an entirely new brewing process and a brand new kitchen appliance, the Pico Brew Zymatic. The Zymatic sits on your kitchen counter and connects to the internet via Wi-Fi. It comes with access to a huge recipe library full of award-winning beers and can brew your next batch at the push of a button. Improve repeatability and refine your recipes with the Pico Brew Zymatic. With minimal cleaning and hassle, the Zymatic enables anyone to brew craft beer in the comfort of their own kitchen. Just add your ingredients and the process of homebrewing becomes simplified and automatic, allowing you to focus on what really matters while you brew. At Pico Brew, they believe everyone should be able to enjoy the art of homebrewing and make their own damn good craft beer. See the Zymatic in action today at picobrew.com.
I'm sorry to tell you this, but we're going to have to pour you out.
Back to Dr. Homebrew.
All right, a couple housekeeping things here, and then we're going to get a beer and take off, man.
Put the broom away, JP.
I can't.
This is clean enough.
Well, maybe it is. Who knows? Okay, before we get started, again, I have something else to tell you about our good friends at the American Homebrewers Association. I know the other night we just had a big rally for them, and I think we got a couple new members of the American Homebrewers Association, the AHA. But in case you don't know, you're not familiar with them, check out their website, man. They fight for your homebrewing rights. It really does pay to be a member. Not only do you get people in Washington and any other state, to be honest with you, fighting for what you want to do, and you want to make beer, man. You want to make beer at home. You want to bring beer to your homebrew clubs. You want to serve it at different things. And in some places, that's still really hard to do.
You don't want to get arrested on the way there.
Right. So, the American Homebrew Association, the AHA, they really fight for all that kind of stuff. But also, you get Zymergy Magazine, which is also on a digital download format thing, too. So you can kind of take that thing anywhere. You can get discounts at pubs and breweries and stuff like that all across the country. They're good people. And, of course, hey, look, they put on the National Homebrewers Conference. I mean, that in and of itself is worth, whatever it is, under $40 or, I mean, it's nothing. A year, it's nothing, man. So check them out, please. The AHA, man, they're working hard so you can make some good beer.
Go through our website.
And then, yes, go through the link on the BN website. Absolutely. Okay, so we have a couple prizes to give away. First up is the Grog Tag $40 At Least Your Beer Will Look Good gift certificate, and that goes to the cat with the lowest score. It's a little tongue-in-cheek kind of a thing that we like to throw around here because, hey, man, if your beer doesn't taste very good, at least it's going to look good.
It's better to look good than
it tastes. And that goes to Brian number 1, Brian Flaherty, with his the Dark Mild. So, Brian, congratulations on that. And let me make a note because
now that he's out of beer, he can put a label on it.
That's right. That's right. Well, for his next one, man. Well, they also have they have keg labels too. So they're a larger format label, Brian, and you can just slap them right on your keg, and you can dry erase what that thing is, or your carboy.
Nice one that says contaminated.
Just X.
Sorry, Brian. Couldn't help it.
Easy joke. Look at you, Doc. Wow.
Grog tag it.
Grog tag that thing. And no. So and then that means the gift certificate to High Gravity Homebrewing and Winemaking Supplies goes to Brian number 2. Brian Girolami. Sorry, Brian, I'm not very smart.
Battle of the Bryans tonight.
So, go to grogtag.com, check them out. Even if you didn't win these gift certificates, man, they have some good stuff. And, Coaster, well, we already covered it in the last segment. And then, also, definitely don't forget Desiree and all the lovely people over there at highgravitybrew.com. They do a lot of electric brew systems and stuff like that too, in addition of course to your hops and yeast and malt and all that kind of other stuff. So it's pretty cool, man. If electric is something that you're interested in, man, check them out. They have a pretty large selection, a lot of good kits and all that kind of stuff. So
good people and birds there. Yeah,
that's for sure, man. Okay, I think we're done.
I wanted to mention one thing very briefly, if I might.
Yes.
If there are any interested parties who would like to become a beer judge or learn a little bit more about beer judging, we have as a part of SF Beer Week, I help instruct a class called Beer Judging 101. So go to sfbeerweek.org and look us up there. It's on January 31st is our class, so you can come judge beer with us and have fun. It's sponsored by my judging mentor Dave Teckham comes out and teaches it, so it's a lot of fun. So
awesome.
Come on out.
Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds great, man. And then, of course, while you're poking around on the internets for other things to listen to, we have a bunch of other shows, man. We got the Sour Hour, we got the Session, we got the Jamil shows, and maybe some other stuff coming in. I don't know, man. And then, look, you can also go to earsuppodcast.com if you want to talk about Disneyland with me and Terrence and Bev and Taryn and, whatever, man. Let's L-plug. Doc, what do you want to plug?
Celebs, yeah.
If you get a molar knocked out, come out to the Bay Area. Doc will hook you up, man. All right, everyone. Thanks for sticking with us. We'll see you next time. Cheers.